Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining. We'll make a start as we've hit 1 o'clock. So massive thank you for joining the session today. We're really excited to bring this webinar series to you to cover how apprenticeships can be a great way to start your career, how they can support you in changing your career direction, or be a great way to return back into the working environment if you're taking a break. So my name is Joe Lakin. I'm a recruiter for Amazon's UK apprenticeship schemes, and I'll be your host for today's webinar. So we're aiming for this to be an interactive session. So I can see some of you have been using the chat already, so that's brilliant. We will be asking you to submit some questions as we go through. So please, if you haven't had a look at the chat box function already, please do familiarise yourself with that. Here at Amazon, there's no such thing as an unimportant question, so please feel free to share any thoughts that you may have, any topics that you want to know more on, or any questions that you have for our panel guests as well. So there will be an opportunity for a Q&A at the end with all the Amazonians that you'll hear from throughout today's presentation. So please do make a note of any questions that you think of as we progress through the webinar. You can either share them as they occur to you or save them to the end. Please also drop the name of the person that your question is directed to as well. So I'm just going to hand you over to Lynn. If you could introduce yourself there, Lynn.
Sure, thanks, Joe. So hi, everyone. My name is Lynn Morgan, and I'm a programme manager with the UK Apprenticeship team. I've worked for Amazon for 10 years and with the apprenticeship programme for the last 3. So I'm really excited to be here today and to help you learn a bit more about Amazon and about our apprenticeship programmes. We also have some guests with us today. So we have our panel who are going to help us to answer your questions and help you to learn a bit more about our apprenticeship programmes, because a couple of them are real live apprentices. So that's really cool. Would you guys like to come on and introduce yourself, please?
Hiya, everybody can hear me. My name's Scott Morton. I'm a operations manager currently at MME1 AR Fulfillment Centre. I've been with Amazon 2.5 years now. I joined via the military management scheme, joined as a area manager, and then within a year or so, I managed to succeedingly pass the panel to get my operations manager. About my role, so I work within Amazon, like I say, as an operations manager. So my role is in inbound. So I literally, anything that comes within the fulfillment center, that I run all the team and all the inventory through the site into the robots that get picked and stowed, which will be words that will be more apparent as you come in your apprentices. Yeah, so that's a little bit about me, and I'll answer any questions and talk a bit more later on. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Luke. I am doing the supply chain operator apprenticeship. I've been doing that for the last 9 months or so. So I'm a step-up driver trainer. I've been driving training drivers throughout peak. And I've been able to work out on multiple sites doing that. So that's given me a great step up if I want to do like a panel or anything like that in the future. I've been at Amazon for just over 1 year. I got into an apprenticeship quite early on in my career at Amazon. And about the role that I'm doing now, so the driver trainer role, just training all the drivers. They come in for a 2-day course whenever they're starting up. I just teach them the processes of how we scan parcels out on road, and how we expect them to deliver parcels and interact with the community out on road. So yeah, that's me.
Thanks, Luke. And is Rodinia available to come on camera? Okay, so maybe Rodinia is not available to come on camera at the moment. I'm sure Simon can help us sort that out. But I'll just give you a brief introduction, because Rodinia is one of the apprentices that I work closely with, because the scheme that she's on is one that I programme manage. So Rodinia is based in one of our fulfilment centres, a site called BHX4. She's on our IT support apprenticeship scheme and just started that, enrolled on that 18-month programme in August. So yeah, so she's been on that programme now for just about 5-6 months. So I'm sure she'll look forward to being able to, oh, here we have, hi, Radinia.
Hi, sorry, it locked me out for some reason. IT, I figured it out. Are we introducing ourselves?
Well, I gave a wee brief introduction to you, Radinia, but please do feel free now that we know that you can see you.
Oh, so hi, I'm Radina. I'm at Coventry SD, doing the IT support apprenticeship. I think I just caught the end where you said I've been there for about 5 months or so. Yeah. So, anything else I should say?
That's great, Radinia. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I look forward to your questions later.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, folks. So that is your panel. So if you do have any questions for anyone that you've listened to just then, please do drop them in the chat. And like I say, we'll get round to some questions towards the end. But moving on to today's agenda. So we've got loads of great information for you today. We hope to cover a little bit around some program-specific questions that you might have, as well as outlining why Amazon is a great place to come and work for us as an apprentice. So we'll run through a little bit about Amazon. We'll give you some information on kind of our apprenticeship programs and why choose an apprenticeship to accelerate your learning. We'll run through Amazon's leadership principles, which you may have heard about already. We'll talk through the program offerings that we'll have as part of the 2023 cycle, how we hire into our programs, and finally, like I mentioned, we'll run through our Q&A. But before we get started, I just wanted to bring your attention to this. So, very quick question. What do you think of when you think about Amazon? Feel free to put your thoughts into the chat box if you'd like, or just keep to yourself. But either way, have a quick think through. What comes to mind when you think of Amazon? I'll give it a quick second as you have a think about that. But moving on, so a lot of the times that we do this, we do get, especially when I kind of thought about this question when I first joined, the first thing that tends to come to mind is those brown boxes that come to your door. So I know myself and my family, we get a lot of those come through, probably too many. Maybe you've seen these Amazon vans that around where you live, or the huge buildings that you might have seen across the country as well, which are our operation centers and delivery stations. These are all hugely important components of Amazon. But we also wanted to highlight just some of the other things that you might already be using in your day-to-day lives, but maybe don't come to mind as the first thing when you're asked that question. So on screen, you will see a small selection of some of the other businesses that make up Amazon, some of which I'm hoping you may already be familiar with, or maybe even use in your daily life as well, through the likes of Amazon Music or Prime Video for your entertainment. You or your family might have an Alexa device or a Ring doorbell, which again sits underneath Amazon. And another favorite, which I've done when I've done in similar sessions as well, has been Twitch. It's not on the screen at the moment, but Twitch, which you might use, again, that all makes part of Amazon. So the idea here is really just to highlight the real breadth and products and services that Amazon provides, and some of them which you may not have thought of when you originally thought of Amazon. So within all of those businesses that we mentioned, there comes a great opportunity for invention and innovation. So on screen, you'll see just some of the amazing products and services that Amazon has innovated over the recent years through drone development, in-house entertainment, grocery delivery, cloud computing, and much more. So I'm going to play a very short video now just to give you more of a flavor of the things that we're currently working on and what we have coming up in the near future. So hopefully this will work straight away. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a little bit of a flavour of the things that we've done in the recent years and what we've got coming up in the future as well. I'm going to pass you back across to Lynn, who can run through hopefully a little bit around our apprenticeship programs.
Thanks, Joe. So guys, let's think a bit about what an apprenticeship is. And I think often when people think about an apprenticeship, they may think, of someone who wants to go into a trade, like who wants to become a joiner or wants to become an electrician, something of that nature. And that is an apprenticeship in the traditional sense, but apprenticeships have evolved considerably in the last sort of 10 years or so. So an apprenticeship, by definition, is essentially about working in a job role that is relevant to the apprenticeship programme that you're enrolled onto, and combining that with a structured programme of academic learning. So you really have the best of both worlds with an apprenticeship, where you're gaining new knowledge and skills through that structured programme of learning, but you also have opportunity to apply that learning into your job role so that you gain competence and become proficient in that job role. And we work closely with external organisations like training providers and with further educational establishments like colleges and universities. So these are organisations that specialise in the delivery of apprenticeship programmes. So they support us to execute our apprenticeships. And with an apprenticeship, you are able to gain nationally recognised industry-wide qualifications. These are externally accredited qualifications. So our apprenticeship programmes are not just qualifications that are specific to Amazon. They are recognised by the wider employment sector, by educational establishments and other organisations. So you can have that reassurance that you are be working towards attaining externally accredited and nationally recognised qualifications. So you're gaining that competence in your job role while also growing professionally and personally through your apprenticeship programme. I think one of the real benefits of an apprenticeship is that they are fully funded. So, you are working in your job role and learning while you earn. So you're being paid and there's no financial burden to you in terms of the apprenticeship because Amazon fund that. And apprenticeships are open to many different people. So whether you are brand new to Amazon and thinking of applying to us, or whether you're already employed with Amazon and you guys are perhaps interested in upskilling or retraining so that you can change your career or progress further in your chosen field. So apprenticeships can be an ideal opportunity for those types of people. But also apprenticeships can be a great alternative to college or university. So if that's not your particular bag, or perhaps you're someone that you don't have those qualifications that are required to enter that sort of a further educational establishment, then an apprenticeship can really support you to start your career if you are just starting out, as well as those people who are career changers or thinking about retraining, that type of thing. So we really have an apprenticeship programme to suit lots of different types of people. And we offer a really wide range of different apprenticeship programmes at different academic levels. So again, there's something to suit everybody. So you can see here on our table where we offer apprenticeships ranging from a level 2 to right up to level 7, and that's just in the world of apprenticeships. The different levels relate to the different educational standard. So for example, we offer apprenticeships at what would be considered an intermediate level, so a level 2 qualification. So academically, those are equivalent to a GCSE type standard of education. An advanced level apprenticeship or level 3 apprenticeship, that's more aligned to an A-level standard of education. And of course, then we have higher level apprenticeships, level 4 and 5, and we also offer degree and even a master's programme at level 6 and level 7. So there's a really broad range of different qualifications, and each have different durations that are reflective of the level of qualification you're undertaking. But today in this session, we are going to focus more on those apprenticeships at that level 2 and level 3, so those intermediate and advanced type programmes. In addition to the different educational levels that we also offer apprenticeship programmes in a really wide range of different categories or like industry sectors. So for example, we have apprenticeships in sectors like digital and creative. So for example, that could be something like content or broadcast production. We have apprenticeships in sales and marketing, so in areas like account management or digital marketing. We have apprenticeships in operations. So one of the apprenticeships that we'll talk about a little today is our supply chain warehouse apprentice. Luke, who's with us today on the panel, is currently on that programme. In our engineering function, we have mechatronics and automation apprenticeships. Technology, that's really broad. That could cover apprenticeships like the IT support programme that Rodinia, who's with us today, is on, or our IT engineering programme, software development. And in business, we have apprenticeship programmes in areas like project management, recruitment, corporate responsibility and sustainability. So we've got a really broad spectrum of apprenticeship programmes. So really the perfect place for you to learn new skills and really something to suit lots of different candidates with different backgrounds, different qualifications or different aspirations. So as long as you meet the relevant entry criteria and have the ambition, the aptitude, and the right attitude, then we're confident that there's a programme that will be of interest to you. And we'll learn a bit more about some of those level 2, level 3 programmes in a bit more depth shortly. Joe, back to you.
Thanks very much, Lynn. So just a little bit about where we've come from and where we are today. So you can see, as Lynn's kind of ran through the different types of apprenticeship programs that we'll have moving forward. I just wanted to highlight now, so in 2023, we're now celebrating our 10 years since our first ever apprentices. We started off with 3 RME apprentices, and we now have around 2,683 different apprentices across the different apprenticeship programs that we'll cover across this webinar series. For 2023, we're also a key sponsor for National Apprenticeship Week in partnership with the Department for Education. We have a series of events running from today up until the 26th of Jan through our webinar series, which obviously this is part of that. We also have a series of in-person events across the UK from the 6th to the 10th of Feb, so across National Apprenticeship Week. I will put in a quick link to in the chat if anyone's interested in that. You can come and see us in person if there's a location near you. And then we've also got an updated website as well. So the schedule for both of our webinar and in-person events will be on our website and our splash page. So do have a look through. We can send through some links as well towards the end. There will be a QR code to go to our website as well. So please do have a look around. We've got a load of events coming up. So if any are of interest, please do sign up and come and see us. So our apprentice vision. So obviously we've been doing this for around about 10 years now in the apprenticeship space. So investment in apprentices is in our DNA. We recognise that whilst technology is a partner, it's our people that power us and allow us to create all the different products and services that we offer today. For our apprenticeships, as Lynn mentioned, we work with leading providers, offer technical mentoring, specialist educational coaching, and holistic program management support from our specialist team. So it really gives you the best chance to be in an environment where you can learn and develop across your time on the apprenticeship program. So I just wanted to cover a little bit around our Amazon leadership principles. Some of you may have heard of these leadership principles before. If you haven't and you are looking to apply for our programs, I definitely recommend you do have a look at these in a little bit more detail after this call. You can find details of these online or on our website as well. So to enable Amazon to grow at the pace that it does, there are 2 things which are extremely important, and that's culture and innovation. Part of the secret sauce, although it's not too secret at all, is the leadership principles which guide how we hire people and how we evaluate success. So everyone within Amazon, we all hold ourselves and each other accountable for demonstrating these leadership principles through our day-to-day actions. Our leadership principles describe how Amazon does business, how leaders lead, and how we keep the customer at the center of all of our decisions. Our unique Amazon culture, described by our leadership principles, helps us relentlessly pursue our mission of being Earth's most customer-centric company, best employer, and the safest place to work. So I won't run you through each of these individually, but hopefully you can see the 16 leadership principles on screen here. But as mentioned, please do take a further look at these, as there's plenty of materials online that you can have a look through. I won't go through all 16, but I will choose a few that are especially important to our apprentices. Whilst we do that, do have a think, do have a read through, and kind of have a look at the ones that really stand out to you or resonate with you as well. So starting at the top with customer obsession. So we always look to start with the customer and then work backwards. We work vigorously to earn and keep customers' trust. So no matter what your role is or kind of what level you join Amazon at, knowing who your customer is and how you can best serve your customer is absolutely critical. Another important principle for apprentices is ownership. So Amazon takes a long-term view. You don't really hear people saying that it's not my job. It's always around kind of owning a piece of work and moving that forward. So for apprentices, you'll be given the support, as we mentioned, to develop and progress. But you will need to show that willingness to take ownership of your tasks and ultimately your learning as well, as that falls down to you. That would be critical for success there. Learn and be curious. So arguably one of the most important leadership principles for apprentices. It's the idea of, so when you join Amazon as an apprentice, you're not going to be expected to know everything straight away, know how to do things. But we do expect you to have that drive to learn and be curious about finding out why things are done in a particular way. And then also ultimately use your curiosity to think of new ways to improve as well. And finally, the one that I'll pick out last is earn trust. So listen, be open and respectful. We're not perfect. People do business with people, not organizations. So when innovating, trust is key to building a collaborative approach. So on screen, you'll have, you can see a quote from Jeff Bezos. So customer obsession, alongside being one of our leadership principles, it's also one of the founding principles at Amazon that is still incredibly important today, as important as it was back then when it was created in the mid-90s. There are many advantages to a customer-centric approach. Jeff Bezos quotes that customers are always beautifully, wonderfully dissatisfied, even when they report being happy and business is great. Even when they don't know it, customers want something better, and your desire to delight customers will drive you to invent on their behalf. So no customer ever asked Amazon to create the Prime membership program, but it sure turns out they wanted it. So as you kind of do a little bit of research, you will find out more about customer obsession, and you'll hear this on a daily basis within Amazon as well. As it's one of the founding principles that drives kind of how we run. And finally, before I hand you back to Lynn to run through some program specifics, I just wanted to highlight the support available to apprentices and to all employees here at Amazon through our affinity groups. So here at Amazon, we celebrate you being you. As a diverse business, not only do we create career journeys, we also want to attract apprentices that reflect our customers and diversity of thought. The breadth of Amazon's affinity groups demonstrates that whilst every employee is unique, there are ties that pull us all together. So these affinity groups, you can be a quiet or active participant and connect with others who have shared experiences and interests. Alongside our affinity groups, we have our selection and recruitment process is considered consistent and open to all who's passed the qualifying criteria for each program. And if you do require any support or reasonable adjustments throughout that, we can offer that as well. So as mentioned, we recognize all Amazonians are unique. Our uniqueness is bound by similarities, and we have numerous networks, both locally and globally, that you can access as an employee. We call them affinity groups, and there are 13 globally. I won't name them all, but some of our affinity groups include Amazon PWD, or Amazon People with Disabilities, who are committed to making Amazon a stronger company by building a community that supports employees and customers who have mental and or physical disabilities. We also have Glamazon, who helps Amazon to be a great place to work by educating, informing employees about the LGBTQ+ community. And finally, Mental Health and Wellbeing, which is our newest affinity group. Their mission is to promote employee wellbeing and to create a safe community where we can come together to reduce the stigma of mental health, raise awareness, create a culture of acceptance, and support one another. So hopefully that gives you an idea of just kind of the support that's available within Amazon. And I'm going to pass you back to Lynn now to run through some program specifics.
Okay, thanks, Joe. So we are now in summary going to look at a number of these 5 different programmes that are really going to help you to accelerate your learning for 2023. So the 5 programmes that we're going to explore in a bit more depth are some level 2 and level 3 programmes. So at level 2 apprenticeship or intermediate programme is a supply chain warehouse operative with business improvement techniques, to give you its full title. And then we will also look at some level 3 apprenticeship programmes, so including our information communication technician, mechatronics, which is within engineering, our IT support, and our safety technician. So we'll go on and talk a little bit about each of those programmes, including sort of the entry qualifications and a bit about what they cover. I appreciate there's some on the chat where people are asking for links and how do you apply for a specific apprenticeship programme. I think if you could bear with us, I think Joe's going to cover towards the end a bit more about the sort of application process. So I think that might help you at that point, if you can bear with us until we get to that point. So let's now look at the first of our apprenticeship programmes. So to give it its full title, it's the Supply Chain Warehouse Operative with Business Improvement Techniques, so quite a mouthful. Often we abbreviate that to just Supply Chain or to BIT. Now, this programme is available in multiple locations across England, in our fulfilment centres and in our delivery stations, so encompasses a really wide range of different locations. Now, whilst there are no formal qualifications required to enter this programme, so we're not looking for formal qualifications, but there is an online assessment which is part of the application and recruitment process. So there is an online assessment in English and Math, and you do need to meet the bar to ensure that you're able to progress and be successful in the recruitment process for this apprenticeship. The qualification that you would gain on this programme would be that of Supply Chain Warehouse Operative Level 2 Apprenticeship Certificate. So that's the key qualification. But in addition to that, you also concurrently work on an NVQ. So the NVQ Level 2 Certificate in Business Improvement Techniques. So the Supply Chain Warehouse Operative Apprenticeship, that gives you a much broader understanding of the supply chain and relevant topics, and the business improvement techniques really focuses on aspects of continuous improvement. So both really relevant for people working within this type of environment and in this type of role. There's also functional skills, which are a mandatory part of any apprenticeship programme. And for this one, you would undertake functional skills in English and Math. Now, there may be some people who are able to claim an exemption from that. So if you already have, for example, GCSE qualifications in English and Math at grade C or above, and you can provide your certificates to evidence that, then you can potentially claim an exemption from that. So in terms of what to expect and what this role is, so the Supply Chain Warehouse Operative Apprentice works in a fast-paced, operationally driven warehouse environment. So whether that's within a fulfilment centre or a delivery station. So it's very much an operationally driven environment. The types of tasks that you would perform would be a task like receiving inventory, receiving goods into our warehouse, storing inventory, picking and packing those customer orders, loading and dispatching those orders. So it is a physical and active role, and accuracy and maintaining high standards of quality are really essential. So we want to make sure that our customers are getting the right orders and that their quality is good, that no items are damaged. So those sort of qualities and being able to apply those principles are really key to this role. This is, as I've mentioned, an operational environment, so there is shift working involved. So potentially you would be working shifts that may include nights or weekends. And as I've mentioned, gaining that broader understanding of the supply chain industry and really how you drive continuous improvement to eliminate inefficiencies and really to add value to our business. So hopefully that gives you an overview of what the supply chain warehouse apprentice involves. I think in order to be successful in this apprenticeship, you really need to be health and safety conscious. Health and safety is of paramount importance to us at Amazon, and in this type of role and in a operationally driven warehouse environment, you would be working with a range of different equipment and machinery like conveyancing and sorters or powered industrial trucks. So you do need to be willing and able to follow all our health and safety requirements at all times. Of course, full training in all aspects of health and safety and safe use of equipment and machinery is given. But you do have to be conscientious and apply that learning at all times. And of course, working in that fast-paced operational environment, so being able to work to deadlines, for example, or to work to key performance indicators, those are all going to be, qualities or attributes that would enable you to be successful. And of course, at Amazon, we obsess about our customers. So in this role, that's a really key element. So having a strong customer-focused approach will really help to drive your success in this particular apprenticeship programme. So now moving on to our information communication technician apprenticeship. So this is in a different environment, in a different setting. This apprenticeship is available in our corporate head office in London. So it's working in an office-based type environment. The entry-level requirements here are that we are looking for a minimum of 5 GCSEs at grade 4 or above, and that has to include English and math. The qualification that you will work towards is the Information Communications Technician Apprenticeship Certificate, and that's a level 3 programme. In terms of what to expect, so in this role, those who work within that Information Communication Technician role need to have an understanding or be able to enjoy working with data and information sets and how they apply to different customer groups or different audiences. You would be responsible for ensuring the efficient operation of our IT infrastructure, both on sites and to end users. So that could include working with both physical and virtual hardware, data storage, network services, including like cloud services. So it's this role is about monitoring and maintaining the system performance and efficiency of our IT systems and protecting the security of data. So those are all key priorities for this role. And so in order to be successful, I think having an active and keen interest in IT or the telecommunications infrastructure is going to be advantageous. Having a good attention to detail, being able to apply that consistently. Having effective organisational prioritisation and planning skills are going to stand you in good stead. And of course, having that, again, customer focus where you have a strong desire to meet customer needs and to be able to build relationships with stakeholders. So those are all going to be really useful attributes or qualities to have to be successful in this role. Our mechatronics apprenticeship is within our engineering function, and that is potentially available across different locations in the UK. The entry-level requirements here are a minimum of 3 GCSE at grade C or above. That should include English, math, and one other STEM type subject, so another science or technology subject. And the qualifications that you would work towards would be that of the Engineering Technician Level 3 Apprenticeship Certificate, specifically the Mechatronics Pathway, and that's a qualification that's delivered in England. In Scotland, where there's a slightly different educational system, for example, then the qualification undertaken would be a modern apprenticeship in engineering maintenance, along with an HNC in engineering. In terms of what this role involves and what to expect, so the RME Mechatronic Apprentice works in an operationally driven warehouse setting, so potentially within one of our fulfillment centres or delivery stations. So it's an operational environment, and working alongside experienced engineering professionals, but really to to solve and technical problems to ensure that our business is able to operate and to meet our customer needs. So ensure that there's minimising any downtime to enable our operation to continue to move smoothly, and conduct routine maintenance. You'd work with a range of different equipment and technology and systems. So it encompasses a range of different sort of engineering disciplines around mechanical and electrical and control systems. So quite a broad scope to enable people in that role to ensure that our operations are up and running. So in order to be successful here, again, you need to enjoy working, I guess, in a fast-paced operational environment, be enthusiastic about identifying and solving technical problems, creating, solutions that are going to enable you to, meet our customer needs and keep our operation moving, being able to work to tight deadlines. I think it's also advantageous to be able to work with data and be able to communicate well with a range of different stakeholders from different functions. So I think being able to work effectively as part of a team is important, but also being able to work independently in this role. Our IT support apprenticeship is available in locations across the UK. The minimum qualifications here are 3 GCSEs, again at grade C or above. The qualifications that you would work towards would be that of the Information Communication Technician Level 3 Apprenticeship Certificate, and that's specifically the support technician pathway that we use. But you'd also have the opportunity to gain a number of other industry-wide qualifications that we offer in addition to the apprenticeship for people on this programme. So, for example, like MD100, CCNA. So those are really advantageous professional accreditations to have if you're working within this particular type of job role and sector. So again, in terms of what to expect, so you'd be working in an operational setting. So again, in a warehouse type setting, fast-paced operational environment. And this is a very hands-on, I guess, practical role. So it involves resolving hardware, software, server, infrastructure type issues related to our operations network. It could include installing, configuring, maintaining, decommissioning, IT assets and devices, following standard operating procedures to make sure that our business critical functions are able to operate, using tracking systems and knowledge bases to document and manage and resolve issues. So hopefully that gives you a brief insight into what that sort of role and apprenticeship involves. So I think in order to be successful here, again, you need to have a keen interest in IT systems and related topics. I think enjoying working in a hands-on type capacity, being a problem solver, so being interested in root causing and analysing and being able to interpret and ultimately solve problems, technical issues, being able to cope with ambiguity and work with a sense of urgency, work with deadlines and to return operations to ensure that we don't have any downtime. So really being able to respond quickly and work as part of a team to ensure that our business critical functions are operating is of paramount importance for this role. And finally, in terms of the schemes that we'll cover today, the safety technician. So again, this will be available in a number of different locations in England. The entry qualifications here are a minimum of 4 GCSEs at grade C or above, including English and math. And the qualifications that you would work towards achieving are that of the Safety, Health and Environment Apprenticeship Certificate at Level 3, but also where you would be eligible to complete the Tech IOSH accreditation. So that's an external professional accreditation and a very useful accreditation, professional accreditation to have for people working within the sort of health and safety function. So in terms of what this role involves and what to expect, as a safety technician apprentice, it will be designing and executing strategies that really support us to ensure that we have a safe and engaging working environment. So as I've mentioned previously, health and safety is of absolute paramount importance to us at Amazon. So this is a really key function and one, that has a huge responsibility to support the safe operations within our locations. So this role would be about identifying, coordinating and executing improvements, health and safety initiatives in the operational setting, and becoming, as you become more knowledgeable and progress, that you would become a subject matter expert, so that you're able to offer advice and direction to the wider Amazon audience within that environment and all matters related to health and safety. So again, hopefully that gives you a bit of a clear overview. In terms of what you'll need to succeed here, would be around having strong communication skills, so that you're able to communicate and influence with people of a range of different levels. So working from with our associates, working with our operations managers, working with senior leadership team, so a range of different stakeholders. I think it's important to enjoy working with other people, because health and safety does encompass a really broad range of dealing with different functions and different stakeholders, and having again that very hands-on approach. So I think good organisational and planning skills would be advantageous to enable you to coordinate and implement and evaluate safety initiatives and improvements within the health and safety function. So really to summarise, I think what we are looking for are people with aptitude, attitude and ambition. So in terms of aptitude, looking for people to meet those minimum entry-level requirements for whatever scheme that you're interested in applying for, so that we are confident that you can achieve that academic baseline for whatever your chosen scheme is, and that you're able to evidence and demonstrate an interest and a clear motivation for the scheme that you're applying for. In terms of attitude, when Joe talked about our leadership principles, and you learned that one of those was like learn and be curious. That's a really strong ethos for our apprentices. So we are looking for people who can demonstrate a real passion for learning, who are really keen to develop their skills and further their learning, who are able to and willing to take ownership for their development, and really show commitment to managing their apprenticeship and ultimately succeeding in that. And in terms of ambition, we're looking for people who are committed to their apprenticeship programme and to the career, the field that they have chosen to pursue. So we need people who are able to manage themselves and manage their time. And of course, as you've learned a little about our leadership principles, so that you're able to, that those resonate with you, that you think that those are something that you can relate to, and that you're therefore able to demonstrate those leadership principles and ultimately raise the bar. Mentioned there about being able to manage yourself and balance time. So I think apprenticeships are ideal for candidates who really enjoy learning by doing. So with any apprenticeship programme, you would be spending about 80% of your time performing the actual job role itself, and about 20% of the time in that sort of learning capacity, which is fantastic, right? In that you gain the learning and the theory and the academic piece, along with that practical element and competence in your job role. But I think for that reason, it does really work for people who have that, that learn by doing is something that is of particular interest to them. I think it is worth also highlighting, though, that apprenticeships can be challenging. They are a significant commitment. So I think that you do need to consider that undertaking that commitment and being able to balance your apprenticeship activity with performing your job role. So we do need people who are prepared to work hard, who are prepared to, who are motivated and who have that drive to succeed. But I think ultimately the investment that if you're prepared to make that, the investment that you make in yourself then and through your apprenticeship can be highly beneficial. In return, we offer our apprentices, fully funded apprenticeship programs. So as I've mentioned, you learn while you earn. You are paid your salary. There's no financial outlay for you in terms of your education. So you gain that learning, that structured learning, and that experience in the job. So ultimately, you're going to have this really great balance at the end of your apprenticeship, and be so that we can produce really well-rounded professionals. We do want to retain our talent that we invest in through our apprenticeship program. So at the end of your apprenticeship program, you would have opportunity to apply for and ideally secure a permanent role within Amazon. And the final point that I would like to share with you today is that Amazon is proud to place diversity at the heart of all that we do. So we do welcome applications from all, regardless of race, age, gender, physicality, sexual orientation. So if you have the commitment, the drive and the passion, then please seize the opportunity and apply for an apprenticeship. Thank you very much. I'll hand you back to Joe.
Thanks, Lynn. That was really useful to run through the different programs there. Appreciate we're cutting it short on time, so I'm keen to get to the Q&A section so we can answer as many questions as possible. But just before we do that, wanted to run you through the application and assessment process for 2023. Important to note, so our recruitment process is designed to give everyone the opportunity to succeed. The recruitment process can vary a little bit per program, so please do take a look at the website for further information on the particular programs that you're interested in. But in general, you can expect the following process that you can see on screen. So you look to apply online. We'll ask you for your CV. You'll answer a few initial eligibility questions and complete a short assessment. You'll then move on to the video section of the online evaluations. So we'll ask you a few questions around kind of your motivations, any transferable skills, whilst using a partner platform there. For any technical programs, we may also ask you to do a short test as well. And then finally, we move through to our assessment centre. So again, this can change a little bit depending on the program, but they tend to include kind of group exercises, presentations or tasks or case studies, and individual interviews as well. What I would say as you go through this, remember that it is a two-way process. So obviously we're keen to understand if you have the right attitude, ambition and aptitude to succeed at Amazon. But also make sure what we're offering and kind of is Amazon right for you. So we'll give you the opportunity throughout this process to find out a little bit more about Amazon. So make sure you make the most of it and really understand if this is where you want to be. And finally, before we move to the Q&A, so on screen you'll see some key information on our upcoming programs. You can use the QR code there or the URL amazonapprenticeships.co.uk to access the website to find out information around all the upcoming programs. We hope by now you're not thinking, should I join Amazon? But your question is more around what scheme is right for me and how and where and how do I apply? It's a perfect time to be speaking to you all, as all of our vacancies open on the 6th of February 2023. So I'd encourage you now in the meantime to spend a little bit of time understanding more about what Amazon's like, and then having a look through kind of the website as well. So understanding really the different programs that we offer, and finding the ones that you're most interested in. Also spend some time now thinking about how you can stand out in your application. We do receive a large amount of applications for the majority of our programs. So it's a great opportunity now to put yourself in the best possible place to succeed, learn as much as you can, and ensure you're picking the right programs for your interest and skills as well. So like I say, if anyone wants to apply, you can have a look at the website through the QR code or the URL. Applications open from the 6th. There's also a link to join our mailing list on the website as well, so we can keep you up to date as we move forward. So just moving on to the Q&A, I know there's a lot of questions in the chat that have come through. We won't be able to get through all of them, unfortunately, just through the time that we have left. However, as mentioned in the previous slide, if I just go back, we do have an additional questions email there if you'd like to send some through after this call. But I just want to invite our panel back onto screen, if that's okay. So we have had some questions that have come through. Scott, just starting with yourself, appreciate that if you were looking for an apprentice, kind of what would make them successful within your team, or what are you really looking for?
Good question. For us, a lot of it is dedication, good time management, and working as a team. So a bit of a team player. Obviously, I'm a operation manager in a fulfillment site. So I have quite a big, diverse team that I work with. I have apprentices already that are on several different apprenticeships. So it's important that they're dedicated to their role. Obviously, they are learning whilst obviously on a job, which is good for the apprentice, getting money in their pocket, etc. But yeah, so a lot of it is dedication to the role. There's a lot of their own time that's needed, but also they do get the time at work as well to come and do bits for their apprenticeship. So we have laptops on site that they can utilise. We have offices in the back where they can come and do some of their work, where they can do the webinars and seminars, etc. So there is that aspect, but like I say, it's more the dedication and working with their colleagues and having the time management so they can plan their day and working well together is the main aspects I would say that we look for the apprentices.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you very much. Regina or Luke, open to either one of you really, but kind of what made you choose an apprenticeship with Amazon originally? Regina, I think you're on mute.
Regina, just on the little toolbar at the top of your screen. Oh, Regina, you're still on mute at the moment, so you got it. You put your headset on. Yep. Are you good now?
Still can't hear you, unfortunately.
Okay.
If we push that question to Luke and then we can come back to you, Regina, if that's.
What was it? Why choose an apprenticeship?
Yeah, why an apprenticeship at Amazon? What was your reasoning?
Well, I was really enjoying my job when I was as a level 1 associate on the floor, and I saw this as a way to not only further my career in Amazon, but also to learn about what goes on within the supply chains, which is what Amazon is a part of. So this just felt like the right thing for me to go for. I hadn't been at Amazon that long, so the chance for me to learn anything about Amazon, how it operates, to help me then maybe progress is why I initially chose to choose this apprenticeship.
Brilliant, thank you. Regina, do we have you back? Have you got anything else to add? No, never mind, that's fine. Lynn, I just wanted to come to you then. So we've had a few questions around kind of the shift patterns for these programs. Appreciate it may vary per program, but do you have any information there?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it may vary slightly, but for many of our operational environments, so for example, our FCs, where like for example Scott works, there's generally 4 core shifts. Where you work front end or back end. So you work a pattern of 4 days, 10-hour days. So it's a 40-hour week, potentially working like Sunday to Wednesday or Wednesday to Saturday days or nights. So, for example, someone interested in applying for the supply chain and in a fulfillment centre, then that's going to be the type of shift pattern that you would work. If you were applying to a delivery station, that has a slightly different shift pattern, and off the top of my head, I wouldn't necessarily be able to give you that specific detail, but again, it will involve shift working, so that might look slightly different in terms of the number of days or hours, but potentially again, it's going to work, it is going to potentially include night shift or weekend working. Does that help with that?
That does. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. And we've also had a few questions around kind of general eligibility. So as Lynn's ran through kind of the programs that we've covered today, hopefully that gives you a better idea on the eligibility for those programs. What I will also say is do check out the websites on all of the different individual program pages. We will do list kind of the eligibility there. So hopefully that'll give you a better idea once you know kind of what program you're looking for. I think as we're coming to the end of this, there is a good question in the chat, and it would be good to get kind of everyone's thoughts here. So the question is, what makes an application for an apprenticeship stand out? Anyone opens the floor? Any kind of big tips that we've got there?
Sorry, Joe, I couldn't quite hear that. I cut out for a second. Could you just say that?
No worries. Yeah, so they're looking for kind of what makes an application stand out.
I think making sure that you meet the entry level and eligibility criteria is important, right? In order to be successful in the sort of initial screening process, and I think making sure that you are able to demonstrate when you get to whether it's like a video type interview, for example, with some schemes where you might go through that phase initially before you get to an assessment centre, for example. But I think being able to really articulately explain, like, why do you want to do the apprenticeship programme? What is your motivation, and what is your interest in that? So I think being able to describe that and articulate it, I think would be very helpful. I think having a basic understanding of the programme that you're applying for. So, using sources like our website, or for those of you who are internal to Amazon and can access our wiki, for example. So you can search on our wiki internally. And I think learning a bit more about the apprenticeship so that you understand and have a basic understanding of that. And I think being able to have evidence-based examples, so that you are able to demonstrate sort of like relevant skills and qualities and attributes that you would be questioned around, potentially, so some of the things that we've talked about relevant today. So, being, like your passion for learning. So how are you going to demonstrate that? What examples can you provide to us where you're going to, demonstrate that passion for learning, or that commitment to your development, that type of thing. So does that help, George?
Does indeed. Yeah, that's really useful. Thank you very much. I appreciate we have literally just hit 2:00, so that is time. So I just want to thank everyone for joining today, those on the panel and those who've come to hear about these programs as well. Appreciate we haven't got through all of the questions. What I will do is I'll put a link into the chat now, just to our kind of shared mailbox. So if you do have any questions that weren't answered, please do feel free to drop us a message and we can come back to you as soon as we can. But thank you again. Massive appreciate your time. I hope that was useful, and have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, good luck.